Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is DB333 and welcome back to Hard to Find for the New Order, Last Days of Europe as Tomsk. In our last video, we beginning to stop the provisional, shut down the provisional government and restore democracy to the people. We're all kind of on a timer, or like a countdown, so to speak, to make sure that we can finish up things before Boris departs us. So I think we're going to start with the First Amendments. Pasternak's new basic constitution has been distributed widely throughout our nation so that every citizen can read it. Now it's time to legislate its adoption. A committee consisting of members of the old provisional government as well as envoys from the four great salons have assembled to review the Constitution point by point. This tedious work must be done so that the new nation has a firm basis to stand on, and so that each salon's candidate has a good idea of what they are campaigning on. Great writing is achieved through thorough editing. Which clearly they didn't do with that word, but you know. It is time for the poet president's last great work to be made ready for publication. Let's do it. We also started working on proposed military programs. We have the upper house majority, but we still need a lower house majority. So I'm looking to see if we can. Okay, we need to be able to ask for support. The modernists are more or less in favor. Andrei Sakharov sat in a small study, dimly lit by the old light bulb that had kept him company for so long. Thoughts came into his mind one minute and went out the next, a never-ending cycle. He looked back down towards his papers, calculating on some idea on the other. But today, it wasn't the physics problem he cared about. He wanted to work on Russia's problems, the failures of their democracy and the failures of their military. All of Russia's modern history seemed to be a failure. He thought back to the past when the CSR fell into disarray. Sakharov had never been a major politician, but now, as he went to meeting after meeting in the modern salons, it seemed his prominence had grown. Andrei continued to think, but he wasn't ignoring his physics papers now. They didn't matter he was ignoring them now. They didn't matter as much. Tomsk, Siberia, Russia, everything had been destroyed by dictators, past and present. They needed to move into a new future, one of democracy and modernity. Now Andrei dreamed. He dreamt of a modernist future in a modernist Russia, one that cared about the people and improved their everyday lives, one where he was the president. What Russia could be like with a strong democracy and powerful government, what Tomsk could be like if it could stand up to the despots and radicals of the South, and what Siberia could be like with a functioning economy and a higher quality of life. As his pen continued to write word after word on the papers, his old light bulb dimmed more and more, barely lighting his desk at all. Andrei smiled, and he left his office to finally replace it. A dark world grows even brighter. So these all seem like interesting guys. I don't think we've met the new Decemberist guy quite yet. We met the Bachelards, the Humanist, and the Modernist. Speaking of which, I believe the Bachelards are probably the ones we're going to want to try to speak to. So we can get some support in the lower house for our military program. We need 40 PP in order to do that, which we don't have much PP, but we actually have enough now. Thank you for the papers, Sakharov said, taking the bundle of Tomsk's morning newspaper from Kimov's hands. How much for these? They sat in the parlor modernist section of the building. Shelves upon shelves of scientific books and journals lined the alcoves of the room. Outside they could hear the sleepy city of Tomsk rousing herself awake as cars thumped and blared. And paperboys announced the most recent items in the papers around. Kamov said, taken back by Sakharov's manner. You don't have to. It's pennies on the dollar anyway, Professor. Come on, Sakharov parried, wearing a kind and serene smile. I'd feel bad if I if I have to have my papers at your expense. No, Professor, Kamov laughed. It's not even rubles. Drop it. Kamov laid a hand on Sakharov's shoulders. Think of it as a favor for coffee the other day. Sakharov smiled. Thanks. He glanced at the front page of a newspaper at a headline. President Pasternak terminally ill. New times for the Republic. You know, newspapers have this uncanny ability to deliver even grave news with bombast. Maybe it's the capital letters. Would newspapers even exist 10 years from now? Let me reread it. President Pasternak terminally ill. New times for the Republic? Question mark. For a Republic it looks you, I think not. You flatter me, Kamov. I'd serve a term or two and then get out. Gotta keep the system running. Have you thought of a successor? I think you'll do. Remark shocked Kamov. I'm but a theoretician. You are an engineer. I leave the foundations, you make it work. But I'm gonna get some coffee. You want some? Milk and 2 cubes, please. There we go. We got the First Amendments. Let's get working on the legacy of a democratic. Actually, we have the upper house support, actually. We just need the lower house support. The Russian Republic, murdered in its infancy by Bolshevism, shackling Russian freedoms to fragile, unstable regimes. The Central Siberian Republic, a fragile creature lying in the ashes of the Soviet Union, torn apart by traitors and rebellions. Our republic is heir to 2 of the 20th century's most disappointing governments. An inheritor to a dream twice shattered by external events. This dream shall not be betrayed a third time. We dream of Russia free, and its people featured, taking back from fascists and despots. Citizens, to arms. Fight for what is yours. Alright, we can go ahead and build some stuff. Let's work on new agricultural methods. I know our farming situation is a bit fragile, so I think some new farming methods will be nice. And anywho, let's get working on getting Bastillard support. We'll see how that ends up working. Did that change at all? Was that what? I think that upped in support, right? I don't know. Order's been restored to a step. What do we got? We got a couple more days in order to finish this up. So if we get some more political power, I think we'll try to woo the humanists. Oh. The young man knocked on the door. A faint reply to enter. Quickly. The secretary found his boss, Dmitry Likachov, standing at the window with a cup of coffee. On his desk, a pile of paper was neatly stacked next to a typewriter. The Decemberist Society's new manifesto, most likely. The young man stood at the door and awaited his boss's orders. Likachov looked to the horizon, no doubt observing the Tom River as it snaked next to the capital. The famous historian and medievalist had asked for a window view on the river. The main reason was known to all, mentioned by none. The older man missed St. Petersburg, the city of his youth. No doubt he found the Tom River a poor substitute for the Neva, meeting the Baltic Sea. As the Tom River was to the Neva, so was Tomsk to the quaint Siberian city, to St. Petersburg, crisscrossed with bridges and canals. A treasure of a Russian people, lost to the advancing tide of fascism. The young man thought to himself that it was a blessing that he was too young to know the sorrow of the older generation, the sadness of the last St. Petersburger. Likachov finally turned to his secretary. Thank you for leaving me to my thoughts a few moments more. The manifesto is completed. Have you ever reviewed it and distribute it? Yes, sir. The young man packed his papers. So you're throwing your name in the hat? Likachov nodded. I have faith in the Russian people. He paused, his eyes distant for a moment. We've lost much these past few years, but I think we can rebuild. Must rebuild. If only despite those who seek only destruction. I think Karms and Sakharov and the other candidates, they get this, but they are too hasty to throw away the old days. We must bring the past with us. Now go. We have much to do. The secretary nodded. Dmitry Likachov smiled, nodded back, headed to his desk, his cup of coffee forgotten on the windowsill. No matter, the Tom River would still be flowing when his work would be done for the day. Like the Decemberist of old, we'll fight to the west. Alright, interesting. So that's our last guy. We're going to get the legacy of a democratic Russia going. And then hopefully we'll be able to woo the lower house once this event is up, once this focus pops. Real quick, we'll go ahead and ask for humanist support. Fuck, we're close. I don't know if we'll make it. It's been an ungrateful task, for sure. Somehow the young bureaucrat knew he'd miss the job anyway. He lifted another stack of office supplies into the box. Few remained at the time of day. Most had already moved out in the days preceding the announcement. Now only the young bureaucrat and a few stragglers worked on moving out of the building. Here and there a few radios kept them company, all of them humming a recording Pasternak's speech dissolving the provisional government. Their office had been one of the subcommittees of the provisional government's Ministry of the Industry. Diligently the men and women had counted what remains of the CSR's industrial assets and what had been lost to the rebels and what needed to be done to stabilize the situation. In the end, all their efforts had not amounted to much. The provisional government didn't have a lot of resources to be devoted to massive industrial redevelopment either. Better to maintain the slow decay than risk it all. Not all was lost, however. Their reports had been compiled into easy-to-digest analyses and then spread to the public by the government itself. The bureaucrats had heard that among the circles of rapidly expanding political clubs, his teamwork had been widely discussed and argued about. The bureaucrat smiled, closed his box. Perhaps the new administration would have a new work for him and his team, flinging a light into the future. Okay, what next? Let's try to empower the associations. In the years since the grand evacuation of Russia's class of intellectuals to central Siberia, they have had to adapt to this new environment. Over time, as expected, they organized themselves into small groups and associations. Sometimes they would build on the common profession, giving way to teams of poets, musicians, scientists, and philosophers. Others were created on the basis of a common ideology or belief, many of which had a chance to be heard in the Central Siberian Republic. Tomsk houses, a vibrant and colorful collection of these associations, who hold significant sway on how things are running in the remnant of the Central Siberian Republic. The president is to finally dissolve the government and begin the process of transition. These groups will be critical, giving their support to democracy, to the system, and being the foundation blocks of a democracy. Thus, they must not be abandoned by the administration, but instead empowered and encouraged. There we go. I don't know if we're gonna get the support in time. I mean, we got humanist support. We got a decent amount of support in the lower house. By most of these, it's just the Bachelards are the ones that are kind of holding us back. Alright, we'll just have to cross our fingers and just go ahead and hope that we'll get some PP sometime soon. Doesn't have to be a big PP, it just has to be enough. Hopefully this will go ahead and give us a boost. We have 13 days left. However, associations. 12 days left. Okay, let's get working on integrating the salons then. In the era of revolutionary France, the salons were cultural hubs that encouraged social interaction and were composed of intellectuals who could exchange and spread ideas on their own. Much like then, the salons have been revived in our own small republic, now by a new generation of artists and scientists who still have the same goals and dreams. Thankfully, they still all have one in common: their loyalty to an individualist republic, an indivisible democratic Russia. Something that Pasternak's government believes in as well. It will not be difficult to bring the process of contacting the salons, aligning them to the Republic's goals, and then finally integrating them into the social and political life of the nation in which we reside in. So we'll get support in the upper house, which I guess is nice, but we need the lower house right now. Come on. Just need 20 something more prestige. Not prestige. PP. And they both start with P, you know. Let's train up the Respublikanatskaya Divizia. And I'm probably butchering that. I apologize. But I tried. You can't say I didn't try. We're gonna lose PP, I can already tell. I'll wait for it. I'm waiting for it. Oh well. Integrate the salons. Wait. Can we maybe get a little less second support, huh? Let's work on pursuing a fever stream. Our adversaries mock us as soft, lacking in backbone, too fragile for the Russian anarchy. They decry our obsession with democracy, with freedom, and with fairness as wholly unsuited for the tough realities of modern Russia. Let them laugh. The dream we chase so feverishly is a vision of a new Russia, unbroken, undaunted, freed from its past. The Tsar's autocratic regime did not succeed in crushing the free spirit of our people, nor did the NKVD thugs terrorize their way to subservience, to say nothing of a German fascist, having hopped against reason, to see their nihilism, infect the character of our people, render us subservient and incapable of dreaming of the future. The Republic does not endure in spite of its dreams, but precisely because of them. It will show the world the strength of our resolve. Okay, let's see. Last second PP, perhaps? Nope. I'm gonna just cross my fingers and hope we'll get a different chance to do that. Oh. There would be no more productive days for the president. Boris Pasternak had laid in bed for most of 2 weeks now, coughing fitfully. His children attended to him. Old friends, old rivals came to visit him. His wife, Zenaida, had come to talk, and talk they had. She had forgiven him some, although not all. Better than nothing. His love, Olga Ivinskaya, had also come by. How he wished he could have seen her more, have had something together for her than a few short visits ushered in through a side door, and never regrettable for a life of regret. He had not done right to his wife, nor his mistress. Hopefully he had done right to his country. Harder and harder to stay awake. Fitful sleep, late afternoon coating the room in amber light. Standing by the bed, one of his sons saying something. Hard to see him well, hear him well. I can't hear you well. There's a mist in front of my eyes. He tried to smile. But it will go away, won't it? Don't forget to open the windows tomorrow. The giant passes away. The death of an author. This is cancelled. I'm guessing we can't do that. Yeah. So the permanence of the manuscript, right? Or maybe we have to wait for that. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. The posters had cropped up from one day to the next with little warning. Workers and scholars huddled together in train stations, reading the proclamations. Citizens, elections have now begun. Candidacy for the State Duma are now accepted from the 4 great political salons of the Republic. Per the late President's final constitution, approved by the Electoral Commission, the socio-political rejuvenation of the Republic will pass through the popular movements known as the Decemberist, the Bachelard, the Humanist, and the Modernist. This college of political associations will tutor the reborn Republic through these turbulent times. The party with presidential control of the Republic will offer a new constitution, allowing the people to experiment with their political institutions. Citizens, the Republic needs you. At has asked you so much already. Now in the 0 hour, the nation needs your opinion, your insight. At the ballot box, inform us about your vision for this new era. You shall be tasked with voting for a local representative, as well as vote for a presidential candidate. Citizens, your help is critical. The news of elections ran through the nation like an electrifying current. Much remained unknown for now. In particular, few knew well the four political powers that had been chosen for the election. Fewer still understood the implications of voting for a constitution, but the presidential candidates were among the most well-known men of Tomsk. The idea of moving past the era of controlled institution with the provisional government was an appealing one. Election season has begun. The last solstice day. Elections are afoot. The Republic stands at a crossroads with several factions running for the State Duma as well as struggling to gain the presidency. Pasternak's faith in the educated and talented members of Tomsk's intelligentsia shall not go unrewarded as the nation's very best hammer out one another's ideas, so that truth and progress spring forth at the ballot box. Set for the darkest day of the year, the elections will first seek to fill the Duma before a president is elected and a constitution is chosen for the nation's next 4 years. Let's focus on that. Please tell me... Okay, yeah, we can propose a military program. We're not going to do it now. We're going to wait till we get more political power. Actually, maybe in theory we could get working on passing it. I'm going to wait till we get more support. I don't know what events are going to be popping up. And actually, we have some tech we need to research. Let's get working on better weapons still. I want to get our way up to the AK-47s. We'll get working on it. Let's see what's going on in the world. Right. The Mongolians going after the People's Revolutionary Council. Yep. Never mind, actually. They are done. Alright. Let's... Alright, that. The open window. Among the various ideologues and thinkers who desire to shape their future of the public, the four great salons of the Bastillard, Decemberist, Humanist, and Modernist societies desire to take hold of the Duma and presidency. As each of the factions makes its case, it remains unclear which issue will be the dominant one for the electoral campaign. But since the Republic are divided, it remains to be seen if the Decemberist platform of respect for the tradition and rural democracy will triumph over the Bastillard modernist idea of urban industrial renewal. Perhaps the Humanist Society's social democratic platform of decentralized democracy and investment into the people will clinch the debates. I don't know. Let's check it. We don't get much in the way of a provisional Duma. Of a description. We can scavenge for loot. I think we'll do that. So have the Siberian plan, which we can eventually work on. We'll see. We'll start tinkering with that later. Probably once we get elections figured out. The open window. Let's go. Let's go with the humming of the music. The soul of our republic is its music, its hope, its dreams, and its letters. It's with these that a nation and society truly exist. The arts and cultures are the backbones of history, where progress is actually made. The people of Tomsk deserve to enjoy the benefits of the arts and live the whole and satisfying lives. People are not meant to merely survive, they are meant to thrive. This is what the Humanist Society believes in their dreams of the Republic's citizens, to master their instruments, the pen and the brush. The Humanists desire to invest in their strengths and talents. A better Tomsk and a better Russia can only be created by the skills of its people, not merely its leaders. Okay. We can get working on other stuff. Do we want to retry the military bill? I think first we'll get working on asking for support. There we go. We still have to get that upper house, the lower house majority, but we have the upper house working for us. With that, who are we going to want to focus on? Decemberist we got pretty much down to a T. Maybe the modernists. They're modern people. They understand what we have to do. Maybe they'll be willing to help us. And we also have a political campaign, I think. Somewhere. We have a White Duma, reunification of Russia. We'll worry about that later. We're doing okay. I think we're doing fine, actually. Oh. What happened? What on heavens has happened? Hello? Game, please tell me you didn't crash. Oh no. Oh no. Please. Okay, thank God. The game was about to crash. We have a Croatian autumn. Oh, Tito! You're in this. Okay, we'll see what actually happens with that. Let's get working on some industry stuff, because I don't know what we got going for it. Not much, actually. Let's get working on horizontal industrial organization, get some more factories in the state, production cap, output, and factory and dockyard output. Seems pretty good to me. Next, let's work on tea time with Shostanovic. There's no better way to connect with the voters than to actually meet them. The leader in Canada of humanists, Dmitry Shostakovich, has become a program where he campaigns and meets with the masses. These tea times, as they are called, let Shostakovich learn the problems of the everyday farmer to be an elite artist. Shostakovich's charisma and populist movement have become famous and beloved all around Tomsk. This has given the humanists great popularity within the people and within the salons. Alongside their simple solution promises of better life, the humanist ideology has reached all the hearts and minds of Tomsk. More and more people are beginning to believe that there is a real chance of achieving a humane and unified democracy. Now that just sounds nice. We'll get working with the modernists once we get the 40 PP. Any second now. Hello? Oh, we're not able to do the interaction at all. Wait. Oh, now we can. Okay. Do we got it? Hello? Hello? Okay, that's done nothing. Okay, we got an upper house majority help. But I don't need that. I need a lower house. Okay, I guess it just has a percentage chance of doing one or the other. Okay, that's a little concerning. I don't want to lose more political power. How long do we have? We have a couple days. Boris was quite surprised to find his neighborhood tea house monitored by policemen. Perhaps they had come for tea, not that the tea house often held any tea these days, but Boris found the prospect unlikely. They checked him for weapons and then warmly ushered him inside. There were a 60-year-old widower. There, the 60-year-old widower saw the unusual of a tea house. Saw the usuals of a tea house, excuse me. Many of whom were sitting around a familiar figure, the famed composer Shostakovich. holding a teacup in his one good hand, was chatting with the people in a lively fashion. Boris headed to the table and hopefully asked for tea. The owner nodded. Perhaps the electoral candidate had brought some tea with him. Boris read the newspaper for some time. Eventually, some new regulars came in and some went out. Shostakovich limped over to his table, accompanied by Sasha, one of Boris's old friends. The composer asked if he could share a cup of tea with Boris, and Boris nodded. The presidential candidate added a variety of topics with Sasha and Boris. The conversation flowed awkwardly at times, and naturally at others. A reserved intellectual as he was, the man's warmth and charisma helped lubricate any social friction. Eventually, the topics of music came, and Shostakovich asked if Boris possessed any records. Only the one, a symphony by Stravinsky, Boris replied. The president's eyes lit up. Can't say I'm a big fan. Ain't no fan of fancy orchestras. The recording was my daughter's. The president nodded. Didn't say anything. Boris couldn't help but sigh. The other man was too insightful to inquire about his daughter's fate. She disappeared east during the War of Yaga, Boris concluded. His friend Sasha winced at the topic. The composer smiled tightly. I know she still lives, my friend. When the Republic marches east, you will be freed of Stravinsky's harmonics when we return her the record. Unless by then you've acquired a taste for it. Boris smiled sadly. So did Sasha. The candidate was a likable bastard, even for an egghead intellectual artist. All in all, a pleasant conversation. Let's check the district map. Ooh, we have the upper hand in a couple places. Alright. Yeah, we're doing good. The associates make their vote. The time has come for the associates present in the Duma to vote. With the hearing of speeches made by each candidate and debate in the Duma and salons, it seems that all have come to a clear choice. The new president to be voted in will wield the executive power of the government and will decide how all of Tomsk will move forward in the future. Also, with the election of the president comes the party's own constitution, which allows a party to govern how they want, instead of governing within the rules of a set constitution. While it may only last as long as the party's in power, still means each party has the power to transform the entire government. The association's vote could quite possibly change the future of Tomsk. Now that's interesting. We got a white Finland. And we got no more time left for this video, sadly. Thank you for watching as always, guys. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of this sort of content in the future, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I upload main series videos like these every weekday, and I upload random stuff every Saturday, if I have uploads at least. So if you want to check any of that out, hit the subscribe button. Maybe even hit that notification bell if you want to really keep up to date. If you want to send a few bucks my way, if you are so inclined, I have a Patreon. Down link below. I don't make money off these because I don't have AdSense, so it's kind of it's kind of rough making money off this. In fact, I haven't made money off this. So if you think I deserve some, go ahead and check it out. If you can't or you don't want to, fair enough. But I at least can appreciate the thought. Also, I have a Discord if you want to jump Falcon chat, play games, just have a fun time in general. And finally, I have a Twitch.tv account where I stream just general stuff. I'm probably going to do whichever the winner of the poll is on stream. So if you guys want to check that out, go ahead and do that. Anyway, thank you for watching. My name has been DB333. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.